All right, I'm Shawn Winters, digital learning coach for Union County. I have a guest with me, Taylor Ricker from Henderson. Taylor, you want to tell your demographic, what group you work with?
I am the elementary digital learning coach in Henderson County. We actually have two in Henderson County. So I work with K through 5 at four of our eight schools.
All right, and I've got Union County. I cover the whole spectrum. I don't necessarily do it the best that I could do it, but I cover them. I wanted to do kind of a series with both of us because we have my group of students. I think we have like 2,200 students in Union County. I think that's probably your high school graduating senior class.
It
So
is, yes, pretty close.
so demographics a little different, but a lot of these tools are going to be overlapping quite a bit. So we're going to go with simple Google slide tricks. That my thought process when I made my list was just something that teachers could probably put together real quick on the fly, and in fact, students could probably even adapt for their own personal use. What was your thoughts, kind of putting things together?
Same thing. I was just kind of starting with basics, um, simple pickup tools that any teacher kind of just getting started can take them and go.
Good deal. And we've seen each other's list and kind of looked ahead and cheated a little bit on this, but we each did our top three picks. And when I say top three good picks, it might not always be our top picks. There's things that I know I use quite a bit more, but these are ones I definitely think any classroom teacher could probably pick up. And even with your elementary focus, your list definitely wasn't even limited to elementary teachers.
Right. Yeah. I try to kind of do anybody can use them anytime. Like you said, Google Slides has a ton of different stuff. So choosing just three was pretty tough, but these
And
are ones that I use quite a bit.
and this will definitely lead into a follow-up series. It's a little more advanced and maybe a little more advanced, and we'll see how many of these we can get through.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll jump in. So this is my top three, number three pick. This is revealing info, and it might take a second to load. All right, that loaded good. Um, this is basically taking a study sheet is kind of where my thought was that you're taking a flashcard idea, but you're going a different route with it. So you ask a question and then you just pull an object off the top. So this is working on that layers part in slides. And we talked about this earlier, that this isn't just limited to Google Slides. You can do these same principles in PowerPoint. And so this is just adding an object on top of your answer. And then I went ahead and threw in like an arrow to tell, this is something that's supposed to be moved away, and highlighted the whole thing and just grouped it. And so that's just selecting multiple objects and right clicking and saying group. But from there, you can just reveal your answer and show, all right, that's the answer to that. And it can be a picture. It can be just the answer itself. I actually adapted this when I was doing my math classroom. I would have the top part of the math problem shown, and then each step I did, I'd slowly reveal. And so that got around the whole wanting to write out the entire problem and students seeing me work it out that way. This was, all right, I have it all written out, and I could just drag it down and slowly reveal an answer. And so for me in math, this worked really well, but it's definitely not limited to that.
Yeah. And then comes to like even having multiple things covered up and, being able to put more on one slide deck kind of too. So that kind of works as well.
Yep. All right. You are up.
All right. So my first pick is kind of goes, it's obviously with Google Slides, but it's three different websites to kind of get started. I think when we think about Google Slides and just starting from like a blank template, it can be kind of overwhelming. Like, what do I want it to look like? How do I want to, organize it? So there's three websites that have tons of Google Slide templates already ready for you. So those are Slides Mania, Slides Carnival, and Slides Go. There may be more, but those are kind of my three go-to. They have just basic ones, just kind of themes that kind of look like the season or kind of that way. Or there's also different things that are already hyperlinked, or they even have up and coming like digital notebooks already created. So kind of the start of that. So if that's something that you're interested in, go check those out and kind of have a template started for you instead of starting from scratch. So those are ones that I'm on probably daily looking at those different ones.
So I used Slide Mania in the past. My aesthetics are not great. I am the white slide with the black text, and so this helped me out a great deal when I came across this. And it's just, if you're not the prettiest creator on this and you don't really care about fonts, this steps you up in the right direction and it helps you overcome that little boundary.
Yes, yes. And there are, if you're looking for specific ones, you can always kind of search on what you're looking for. Because once you get in there, because there are so many, it can be overwhelming. But there are search on all three of them to kind of help you in what you're looking for.
Start getting lost in the woods looking at all.
Yes.
Something on this. I know I got in with an idea like this is how I wanted to do something, and then I came across a different kind of redirected me, and for my idea, I think it actually did much better because, like I said, I wasn't the most creative on that. So
right, yeah, definitely helps
well
in that sense too.
All right, I guess I am up with my number 2. So, kind of thinking of getting around the how do I have students still do similar worksheet type assignments. This is just taking your normal, like how I would draw an arrow or have kids cut out pieces and arrange them, just sorting and dragging and matching. And so all this is really quick to set up, and you can kind of start with a template and just file make a copy, change some of the text, change some of the pictures, and it's really easy to do and kind of put together. So all this is take an idea of how you want something sorted. If it's math and you want to do like Venn diagrams, not necessarily limited to that, you can do that. On this one, I have timelines, and this is just going in. I use the Explore tool and just searched for whatever picture topic I wanted and just had that drug in. And so really, like I said, it's really quick and easy to do, and you could have students come up with some of these on their own and let them kind of share with the classmates and test out. And these first 2 I show are really simple, but then you can actually step it up and go a little higher, doing the plant diagram. You could do maps. You could actually have it where you're dragging and dropping like city locations, or if you're 8th grade U.S. history and you want to do like battle sites, you could actually drag and drop that way. So really, like I say, it's not too terrible hard to place. And I will say, while making this, I had a cheat sheet off to the side because I did not remember the plant cell diagram. So I had to cheat to do this. But like I said, you can test the students out, and if you're doing this in a Google Classroom, that's a really easy thing to kind of turn around and grade, just kind of going through and making comments and telling the kid, all right, this slide wasn't right, try again. This I could easily done the exact same way, where you drag and drop the steps of a math problem. But if you want to do the like arrow diagram, this is a little trickier for students because they'll grab that arrow and they'll drag it to the wrong, like literally move the arrow instead of extending it. But you show them how to do this and they'll pick up on it pretty quick. Just grabbing that little corner piece and extending it, showing those arrows. Once again, really easy to turn around, and if you wanted to assess a student, would be very simple for them to do. And you see, I actually did it just then. I grabbed the arrow and moved it instead.
Yeah, I really like that though. I like the arrow over something different. The drag and drop reminds me a lot of a different website that teachers really seem to love, Seesaw.
Yes.
Which is a great tool, but to do more slides, Seesaw costs money. Just kind of Google Slides is free. You create it and you do as many slides as you want, and totally free for you.
All right, I will get you your next.
Yes.
Maybe I will. All right, number 2 pick.
Okay, so my second pick is just hyperlinking. So up in the toolbar next to where the highlighter is, there's that little link thing, or link icon. I shouldn't say link thing. So what that does is on your Google slide, you can just highlight a word or a picture, and you can link either to a different slide in the slide deck. So if I'm on slide 1 and I want to click, like I have on this one, Monday, Tuesday, if I want to click Tuesday, it's going to go to a different slide. It's going to go to that Tuesday slide. So just a little bit easier for getting places and organizing that way. You can also just link in different websites or different documents as well. And the linking tool just makes your look a little bit cleaner instead of copying and pasting the whole link and having a big long blue hyperlink there. It just kind of makes it a little bit cleaner and crisper for presentation and for your students to kind of see that way.
It's with hyperlinks, and the benefit to this compared to like just a worksheet, you're able to actually throw people out into, and that's a whole idea of like the hyperdocs, where you're giving them additional information if they want it and throwing them that way without having to say, all right, now you're going to search this and do that. Just send them directly where they would go to get the resources.
Yes, and I've seen a lot of teachers use it, just within the Google Slide. So this video right here is kind of taken to a different website, but they're building. So that first page is kind of their landing page on however many slides there are. So instead of your students scrolling down to the bottom to find that, it's just all right there on that first page. So they really like that as far as the ease for the students in using that.
Yeah, you're building a table of contents for it, and just having them jump and be able to access. I will say one thing I love is when you do something like this and somebody actually takes the time and put that home button on there to have it hyperlink back to that first slide. It's something that's so easy to overlook, but it makes a world of a difference for students to be able to, well, let me go back to that instead of having to scroll back to the very top.
Absolutely. Yes, that's a great tool to kind of keep in mind. I think on either this one or my next tool, I did kind of put a home button to kind of show how it goes back and forth because of that reason right there.
All right. My number one pick. So this is taking that collaborative slide deck. So everybody is working in the same place. Now, this can get chaotic. I got a little trick later on I'm going to circle back to that kind of helps with that. But this is basically everybody's got the same template. You have the same assignment, and they basically get assigned one. So I'd say, Tim, you're student number 1. Find that slide, fill it in. And that helps a lot when you say this is your slide instead of saying go freely grab one, because everyone will jump on that same one.
Yes.
But having them do this, and what I like, it's very collaborative. If a student gets kind of hung up and they're all doing something a little bit different, they can kind of glance at someone else and be like, you know what, I liked what they did. Let them build, let them communicate, let them add comments to somebody else. And so having them all in the same space together, the final product, when you actually look at it and you can actually see it all in action, looks amazing. And if a teacher is working off of their own personal site, this is something that they can throw up as a slideshow and let other people see, this is what my students have been working on, and let it run through. Or if you're needing a hallway display, you can hit print and you're printing this entire slide deck, and it's all these students' sample work that they've put together, and it's just really easy to throw that together and have them work. And so one thing I threw on here is let them take a picture. So what I would do occasionally in a math classroom is I would assign students a different problem out of the book. So Tiffany, your problem number 3, Sarah, your problem number 4, and then let them take a picture and turn in that. Then they can actually go back and see how they've done the work. And then you might have them off to a side, explain it. And with us doing things like Flipgrid or Screencastify, students can actually explain that and throw links in of them actually explaining their work and have that built off of each other. So that was my number 1.
Like you said too, like the collaborative piece. So not even just going to look at another student's, but even like go in and like comment, like, hey, I like how you set this up. Just that instant feedback from not necessarily the teacher, but other students as well. Kind of a con to this, just at least the first time, like for teachers to understand, like this can get messy. It does take some practice on like students going to their slide. Just letting teachers know that that's okay if something kind of goes wrong, but it is a great tool for you to use consistently, and the students picking that up, and like you said, all of their work right there in one slide deck.
So this is also when you have that conversation about version history, and I can see who edited someone else's slide. So if you mess with someone else's work, I can tell, because you always get somebody deleted this. Well, we can check. Oh no, it turned out you deleted it. We'll fix that though.
Yes. And then kind of to piggyback on that, the version history, some teachers in Henderson County, they have a template already made with like all of their student names already for maybe the period or whatever it is. And then when they look at the version history, they can go and they can make a copy of that template one and
Yeah.
use it again. So they're not having to kind of recreate from the start, from the very beginning. So the version history on that part is wonderful as well.
Yes, absolutely. All right. And your number one.
Yay. So this is the present mode. So I kind of went back on like where I was creating the hyperlinks and making that interactive on the Google slide and putting that in present mode. And so what that is if you can tell, I'm changing the URL at the top until you backspace all the way to edit and you type in present. And so when you do that, it takes that Google slide deck and it just makes it big and it takes that panel on the side away and it just makes it easier for students to click on and go. So instead of, if they're looking at the edit version of the Google slide, they have to click on it and then click the hyperlink that kind of pops up. But in this case, you just click on it and it goes straight there. You don't have to do that double clicking. And so this is where I have that home button that Shawn was talking about. So on here, when you click that home button, it goes back to that first page. Just so if they get, too far down, instead of, again, arrow back, they could just click that home button and go back there. Something I didn't kind of put on here, but goes along with the present mode. So like I said, in the URL, when you backspace all the way to edit, you backspace to edit, and then you type in present. There's also two more that I use quite often. Using that little trick is forcing a copy for teachers or for students. So if I wanted to send this to Shawn, so instead of like saying, all right, will you make a copy of this? I can force him to do that by just, again, erasing all the way to edit and type in copy. And then I can give him that link. Or one of my absolute favorite one is the template preview. Sometimes when I get into different sites or anything that I'm on and it forces me to make a copy, sometimes I don't like that because I'm making a copy of, I don't even know what it is. It might be something that I don't like and I don't want to use. So the template / preview, it lets you look at the preview of what it is you're making a copy of before you actually make a copy. So I kind of added 2 tips in one in this slide, but I think those 2 extras are really important to kind of talk about as we're changing the URL.
I absolutely love the forced copy because that is so great, and you don't, especially if you're ever sharing with outside the district, that's just a nice way of making sure they're getting their own. They're not going to be messing with anything of yours, and they have it to work off of. I did not know about the preview template. I've never seen that.
Yay! So I can say that I taught you something today. That's great.
There's a doc one that will automatically convert it to a PDF, but its scripting is a little tricky. So it's not one that you learn. It's one that you keep copy and pasted in some document somewhere to look back on. And I'll have to track that one down too, because
so it's the same thing as the copy. When you just click on it, it just opens it up, and you can even like click the arrows over and look at, like, if it's multiple slides, you can see what it is, and then in the top right hand corner it says use template. So if it's something that you do want to make a copy of, you just click that, then it makes a copy in your drive. So that is definitely top favorite there.
All right, so I don't feel bad about sneaking this in since you snuck in an extra one. I had to throw in.
You cheated too.
I did. I had to throw in the bonus slide. And so going back to that collaborative, this is all hyperlinking. So definitely stealing from your page. So once students kind of get their work, you can actually, under the same idea of click the kid's name and it's going to hyperlink and jump to their slide. So that's organized for them. And you talked about your teachers already kind of having a tip. This is great to build from day one, is that table of content with the kid's name. And like, all right, Sally is always slide number 25. So I'm going to go ahead and hyperlink her. And then every assignment I build, I go back to this and file make a copy and then build off of that.
Yeah.
And so the student
I like that. I like that a lot. I haven't ever really thought about that.
Yeah. And once again, it's just table contenting, but you're going off the student's name. Now, your classrooms with 30 kids, I'm sorry, your table of content's going to be a full page of students' names. And it takes a while to build. That's why I really recommend do this first before you start building, and then let that be your template to work off of.
Great.
Well, that's all I've got today. You got anything you want to add?
Well, I appreciate you having me today and kind of getting to
No,
do this. I liked it. You
I
taught me
enjoyed it.
something, I taught you something, so there's some benefits for us too.
Now, I definitely, we have to do this. We have to do the step up from the simple tool to the not so simple ones. And
Yeah.
we'll work our way through some stuff.
Yeah, I already got some ideas.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. Do reach out to us if you need any additional information, if you want more how-tos on how we did this, or you have something you want to share out that's a great idea. We'll be happy to share it with other people as well. But thank you everyone for
Absolutely.
your time.
Thank you.